After I posted the video on the 72 Tales from the Crypt movie, many of you have requested that I do a video on 1973's Vault of Horror. I gotta say, I love EC Comics and their stories, and this may or may not come as a shock, but I haven't seen Vault of Horror either. So, if like me, you're seeing this for the first time, or you just want to relive the stories of the movie, sit back and relax, because we got the keys to the vault, and it's time for some scary stories. Oh, and I recommend watching the movie in full, so I'll put links in the description. But with all that out of the way, let's get started. Our story starts off with 5 strangers boarding a descending lift, one by one, in a modern office block in London. They reach the sub-basement, though none of them have pressed for that destination. There they find a large, elaborately furnished room that appears to be a gentleman's club. The lift door is closed. There are no buttons to bring it back, nor any other exit. Resigned to waiting for help, the 5 men settle down with drinks and talk. The conversation turns to dreams, and each man tells of a recurring nightmare. Our first segment is titled Midnight Mess. Our story begins with Harold Rogers, a man consumed by greed, who hires a private investigator to locate his estranged sister, Donna. Upon receiving the information, Harold murders the investigator to eliminate any loose ends and retrieves the payment he had given him.
Thank you.
He then travels to the village where Donna resides, a place with peculiar customs and an eerie atmosphere. As dusk approaches, Harold notices the villagers hastily closing their windows and doors, creating an atmosphere of unease. He encounters a man on the street who warns him to get indoors before nightfall, hinting at unseen dangers that emerge after dark.
You're a stranger in town, aren't you?
Yes.
It's getting dark. You better get inside somewhere.
Determined to carry out his plan, Harold locates Donna's residence. He confronts her and, without hesitation, murders her to claim the family inheritance.
Now, tell me why you wanted to find me so badly.
Father died 4 weeks ago. I've been looking for you ever since. You're his heir, you know. You always were his favorite. He left you everything. For as long as you live.
After committing the crime, Harold seeks out a local restaurant to have a meal. At the establishment, he observes that the staff and patrons are acting strangely, with an air of anticipation hanging in the room. As Harold dines, the restaurant's true nature is revealed. It caters exclusively to vampires. The staff and patrons, including his sister Donna, now undead, confront him. In a horrifying twist, they restrain Harold and use him as a beverage dispenser. Midnight Mess is adapted from the comic Tales from the Crypt number 35. Midnight Mess in the comic is much more graphic and shows the horror in a very direct way, especially the food being made from human flesh. The characters are exaggerated, like typical horror comic figures, and the story ends with a sharp, ironic twist. The movie version tones down the gore a lot. Instead of showing the gruesome stuff, it uses suspense and atmosphere to create fear. The characters are more realistic, with backstories that make them feel like real people. The ending in the movie is also changed a bit. It's less harsh and focuses more on building tension. So, the comic is more about shock and gore, while the movie is about suspense and mood. Our second segment is titled The Neat Job. Our story begins with Arthur Critchett, a wealthy, middle-aged bachelor with an obsessive compulsion for order and cleanliness. Arthur, portrayed by Terry Thomas, announces his intention to marry Eleanor, a younger woman, played by Glynis Johns. He believes that with proper guidance, she can adapt to his meticulous lifestyle. After their marriage, Eleanor moves into Arthur's home, a testament to his fastidious nature. Every item has its designated place, and Arthur maintains a strict inventory of household supplies. He expects Eleanor to adhere to his standards, often reprimanding her for minor infractions.
I know where everything is. I just have to put out my hand and I find it. And that, Eleanor, is the value of neatness.
Yes, Arthur.
Eleanor, initially eager to please, finds herself increasingly stressed by Arthur's relentless demands. Her attempts to maintain the household to his exacting standards are met with criticism, leading to a growing sense of inadequacy. One evening, Arthur offers to cook dinner, but he becomes enraged when he discovers that Eleanor has failed to replace a used ingredient. He scolds her for not updating the inventory, further exacerbating her anxiety.
In the cupboard. Against each item are 3 marks. Now, every time you use one of the items, you erase one of the marks. This is the eraser, right here. So you can never have an empty space. But 2 marks, tomato puree, no tomato puree. 3 marks, spaghetti sauce, no spaghetti sauce. You haven't even bothered.
The following day, Eleanor, determined to make amends, attempts to fix a crooked picture frame. This simple task spirals into a series of mishaps, resulting in a chaotic mess throughout the house. In a panic, she ventures into Arthur's basement workshop to find tools for repairs. There, she accidentally disrupts his meticulously organized tool collection. Arthur returns home to find the house in disarray and his workshop in chaos. He confronts Eleanor, berating her for the disorder and questioning her ability to do anything neatly. Overwhelmed and pushed to her breaking point, Eleanor snaps. She grabs a hammer and strikes Arthur, killing him.
Can't you? Can't you do anything neatly? Can't you do anything neatly?
In the aftermath, Eleanor dismembers Arthur's body and places each part into neatly labeled jars, aligning them on the shelves of his workshop. This final act of neatness serves as a disturbing testament to Arthur's overly obsessive behavior. In a way, this reminds me of the Tales from the Crypt episode, Collection Complete.
I tidied up everything after I finished. All neat and tidy. Everything in its place, and a place for everything.
The Neat Job is adapted from a story in Shock SuspenStories #1. The movie version of The Neat Job tones down the graphic horror and focuses more on building suspense and atmosphere. The main character is given more depth, making him feel more human and less like a caricature. The ending is also changed to be less harsh but still unsettling, fitting the movie's overall style. So, while the comic delivers shock and dark irony, the movie adopts a softer approach, focusing on mood and tension rather than explicit horror and graphic violence. Our third story is called This Trick Will Kill You. Our story begins in the bustling streets of Calcutta, where renowned stage magician Sebastian and his wife Inez are on a quest to discover new illusions to enhance their act. Sebastian, portrayed by Kurt Jurgens, is particularly interested in finding authentic Eastern magic that can be adapted for Western audiences. The couple navigates through vibrant bazaars, observing various street performers showcasing their skills. Their attention is captured by a young girl performing an extraordinary rope trick. She plays a flute, causing the rope to rise vertically into the air, and then ascends it gracefully, as if defying gravity. Sebastian is astounded and approaches the girl, offering to purchase the rope and learn the secret of the trick. However, the girl refuses, explaining that the magic is sacred and cannot be sold.
How much do you want for the trick? Name your price.
There is no trick. The magic is in the rope.
Okay then, sell me the rope.
I cannot. It was my mother's, and her mother's, and her mother's.
Despite the rejection, Sebastian is resolute and convinced that he can crack the secret. He and his wife Inez invite the girl to their hotel room under the pretense of discussing a performance opportunity, hoping to extract the secret from her in private. Once in the hotel, Sebastian and Inez confront her once more about the trick, but the girl still refuses to divulge the secret. Sebastian becomes increasingly hostile and kills her. Believing that the power lies within the rope itself, they confiscate the magical instrument and dispose of the girl's body, concealing their crime. Sebastian attempts to replicate the trick using the magical rope. He plays the flute and the rope rises as before. It suddenly coils around him like a serpent, tightening and ultimately strangling him. The segment concludes with a solemn message about the hazards of avarice and the perils of tampering with forces beyond their control. This Trick Will Kill You is adapted from Tales from the Crypt number 33. It's a dark, suspenseful tale about a magician who uses deadly tricks to get revenge, ending with a sharp, ironic twist, which is a common feature of Tales from the Crypt stories. In the comic, the magician is named Herbert, rather than Sebastian, and he and his wife strangle the girl to steal the rope, instead of stabbing her like in the movie. When Inez scales the rope in the comic, rather than just disappearing, her body parts fall from the ceiling, a much more graphic scene. Similarly to the movie, the rope ends up hanging the magician as well. But the biggest difference here is that the ending in the comic is mystical and unexplained. In contrast, the movie reveals that the girl and the fakir are still alive and are seeking revenge. The comic takes a grittier approach with more graphic scenes, while the movie leans into the mystical and mysterious elements, creating a different but equally impactful narrative. In the segment titled Bargain in Death, we meet Maitland, a struggling horror writer who, along with his friend Alex, devised a scheme to fake his own death and collect the life insurance payout. Maitland's plan involves taking a drug that will make him appear dead, allowing him to be buried alive but with the hope of being rescued by Alex after the funeral. However, Alex has alternative motives. As Maitland lies in his coffin, patiently waiting for rescue, his anxiety grows with each passing moment. However, unbeknownst to him, two medical students, Tom and Jerry, require a fresh corpse for their studies. They arrange with a gravedigger to obtain a cadaver, oblivious to the fact that the chosen coffin holds Maitland. The gravedigger proceeds to exhume the coffin, and upon opening it, Maitland awakens, gasping desperately for air. Tom and Jerry are taken aback by Maitland's sudden awakening. In a state of panic, they flee the graveyard and dart into the street. Their reckless actions lead to a tragic accident. They run in front of a car driven by Alex, who loses control and crashes, ultimately succumbing to death. The gravedigger, determined to complete the task, resorts to a gruesome act. He mercilessly strikes Maitland with a shovel, taking his life. Oblivious to the fact that he has just killed an innocent man, the gravedigger subsequently delivers the corpse to Tom and Jerry. He apologizes for the injuries inflicted upon the head.
You can give me the money now. It's all yours. Sorry about the head.
Bargain in Death was adapted from a story featured in Tales from the Crypt, number 28. And honestly, the movie sticks pretty close to the original. The names change a bit. George in the comic becomes Maitland in the movie, and the med students get new names, but the overall story is basically the same. But yeah, to be honest, it felt like the weakest tale in the movie. It is more like a story from Shock SuspenStories than a traditional horror from the Crypt or the Vault. And for some weird reason, Maitland looked a lot like my Uncle Jimmy. I can't really unsee that. Our final segment, titled Drawn and Quartered, takes place in the vibrant yet chaotic streets of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Timothy Benson, a struggling British artist portrayed by Tom Baker, works tirelessly in obscurity, producing art that goes unnoticed and unappreciated in terms of both attention and financial gain. Despite his unwavering devotion, Benson's work fails to receive the recognition it deserves, leaving him struggling to make ends meet. One day, Timothy Benson receives a visit from an old friend who brings an astonishing revelation. His paintings, which he believed had gone unnoticed, are now being sold in London for outrageous prices. Art dealers and critics who had formerly dismissed his work are now benefiting immensely from his creations without his knowledge or consent. Overwhelmed by feelings of betrayal, Benson resolves to seek vengeance. Intent on exacting revenge, Timothy Benson consults a local voodoo priest, who performs a ritual that empowers his painting hand with supernatural powers. He gains the ability to inflict harm on a person by damaging their portrait. Equipped with this newfound and sinister gift, Benson returns to London, firmly determined to punish those who exploited him. Back in London, Timothy Benson meticulously crafts paintings of the three individuals who wronged him: art critic Fenton Breedley, art dealer Arthur Gaskill, and art dealer Dilettante. Benson then deliberately damages the portraits, causing the corresponding individuals to endure accidents that mirror the harm inflicted on their painted counterparts. Breedley is blinded, Gaskill's hands are gruesomely severed, and Dilettante, well, let's just say that he can now take a deep breath through his forehead.
You'll never see another woman again.
See?
Benson's vengeful plan, however, comes with an unintended consequence. Previously, he had painted a self-portrait, which now poses a risk to his own life. In an ironic twist of fate, a can of paint thinner accidentally spills onto the self-portrait, causing a lethal reaction. The very tool of Benson's revenge ultimately becomes the instrument of his tragic end. Drawn and Quartered is adapted from Tales from the Crypt, number 26. It's a graphic and dark tale about a man who inflicts revenge using a lethal drawing technique. The comic features numerous gruesome scenes and ends with a classic ironic twist, typical of Tales from the Crypt stories. The movie adaptation of Drawn and Quartered diverges from the comic in several aspects. It dilutes the graphic violence and accentuates tension and atmosphere. The characters are given more depth, rendering the story less of a shock and more of a psychological thriller. To fit the movie's overall tone, the ending is softened as compared to the comic's graphic resolution. After the finale of the story, they reflect on the significance of their nightmares. The elevator door opens, revealing a graveyard before them. Rogers, Critchett, Maitland, and more step out of the lift, and one by one, they fade away among the tombstones. Sebastian remains behind and explains that they are all damned souls compelled to tell the stories of their evil deeds for all eternity.
That's how it is. And how it always will be. Night after night, we have to retell the evil things we did when we were alive. Night after night, for all eternity.
So there was Vaults of Horror from 1973. And yeah, just like Tales from the Crypt, I'd never seen it. This is my first watch through. And I gotta say, all the stories were pretty decent except for that one with the guy who looked like my Uncle Jimmy. But I think it was Bargain to Death. Bargain of Death. I don't know. Again, I'm staying up way too late trying to get these videos out for you guys. So, yeah, if there's any other movies or anything, any other TV shows you want to let me know about, I can make recaps on. Let me know down in the comments. I know some of you guys are talking about Tales from the Dark Side, and I was literally about to start filming that. I even ordered the DVDs from Amazon. I ordered the complete series, all in one box, kind of like I have for my Tales from the Crypt. And I ordered it. It says on there, complete series, and I get it, and it's only season 1 and 2. So I want to have the whole thing in my hand, so that way I can go through the episodes that you guys say are the best. But anyway, that's enough talking from me. I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Yada, yada, yada. See y'all next time. It must be the vault. The vault of booze. Okay. This dude looks like if Ben Shapiro and John Malkovich had a kid together. Why does all the blood in these... I noticed it in Tales from the Crypt as well. Why does it look like red paint? Like, is it like a censorship thing? Or is like my computer color turned up too much? I don't get it. It tapped that boy like a keg. It turned his ass into a beverage dispenser.
I know where everything is. I step out my hand and I find it. And that is the value of Prometheus.
Kinda seems like he wants to put his hands out and find it. Honestly.
Can't you do anything neatly?
Oh shit. What kind of face is that? What the fuck kind of face was that? She's in the back rooms now. Let me guess, they're all corpses. Just like the last one, they're all actually dead the whole time. Oh, wow. I totally didn't see that coming at all.